welcome everybody to this week's edition of Hassel's Review. So, usually, you guys know, I typically do a review of toys. I review figures. I review movies, all kind of bullshit manner of things that I do over the course of the last week. This week, I have gamed out like I have not gamed out in probably a few years. So, this week's edition of Hassel's Review is a gamer edition. So for all my gamer fellow friends and nerds, this one's for you guys. So, your boy Hassel, he balled out on the PlayStation 5 all weekend long. This is the first time that I've probably done actual gaming in probably a few years. But, I had to this weekend. Because one, not only did I buy a new game within the last week, but two, the kind, generous, benevolent souls over at Blizzard Entertainment Studios, they dropped the beta for Diablo 4. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm a huge Diablo fan. All the way back to Diablo 1 and dial-up internet, brother. That was this guy right here. Click, 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 click. Thank God we don't have to do that stupid shit no more. So, needless to say, I've been with them on their journey. From PC to Diablo 2 on PlayStation 3 to Diablo 3 on PlayStation 4. And now we are at Diablo 4 on PlayStation 5. So, the beta dropped and it got by me the first day. I didn't realize it. I didn't find out about it until Saturday. My cousin Casey, huge gamer, listener of the show, he actually enlightened me as he was bragging just so slyly about his level 22 that he already had. Just subtle. But anyways, so I go embark upon downloading it, and downloading it was a fucking chore. This son of a bitch took forever, and I have good internet. I have Mediacom. I got my Ethernet cord run to it, cable. I got good internet, and it still took some time. It was like 78 gigs, I want to say, even for the beta. But when it finally did upload, holy shit! Like all Diablo games, you open with a great cutscene. And the cinematography is just as great as it always is. So, I don't want to give too much of that away for the people that do plan on buying it. It does drop in June, I believe, June 6th, if I'm not mistaken. However, so you get a really, really great beginning. It's like, oh shit, this is cool. It's beautiful. And the main villain, everyone knows, is Lilith. She looks fucking immaculate and great. They did a super, super cool job. She looks just, I guess, bewitching enough to where you can see where she could lure men's souls. But at the same time, it's like, this bitch is scary. Run, motherfucker. But we don't run like, we stay there like dumbasses. That's what men do. So, you start out the game like all the others and you pick your class. There's 5 classes on this one here. You have a barbarian, a sorcerer, a rogue, necromancer, which is what I almost always go with. But I went with the 5th class this time, due to the fact that Mr. Mittens, friend of the show, has just harped on how cool this one's going to be, because he played with it in another form somewhere else, the druid. So I went with the druid, who is also a big rotund fellow like myself, so it didn't look very much different. Once I got my guy together, he looks like, me with these big elk horns on its head for a crown, which is somewhat cool. But the neat aspect of it is he turns into a werebear. That's fucking cool. Which I will say, like all of them, you have your attribute points. Use them wisely in the beginning. You start out with 1 power, then when you level up, you get a 2nd power. Well, like a dumbass, I start using my attribute powers to level those up real fast. Not thinking about shit, I should expand upon my powers. Well, I wanted to do werebear, so I started pouring attribute points to the werebear thing. The thing is, keep in mind, people, you have to be a certain level before you can use certain powers. And two, sometimes you probably waste about 2 or 3, or I won't say waste. You have to acquire and put towards a power 2 or 3 attribute points before you ever unlock it. So while it was sitting there in the triangle thing just circling, I couldn't use it. Couldn't use it. Leveled up enough, finally added another attribute point. The werebear broke out. For the most part, he kicked ass pretty damn good. I will say there was a few attacks with the hammer I liked a little better, actually. So some of his melee stuff, to me, I enjoy a little more. So I think even though the werebear's cool, I'm gonna probably, when the game drops, go back with Necromancer, because the style is just more like what I like. So I will probably go back with the Necromancer next go around. But the Druid is super cool, super fun. I talked to some other people that you had done the Barbarian, and they leveled him up, and it got great. And I didn't get a good picture of my character, because not thinking, I knew the beta was over, come Monday morning. But for some reason, I was thinking maybe you could still get back in there and maybe just not go online. So I was like, I'll take a picture of my character when I go home Monday. Nah, player. That son of a bitch was locked down yesterday evening. It was done for. There was no return. Not until June 6th anyways. So I highly recommend the game. It's really cool. It's like all Diablo games. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, there's very little. They don't stray far from the proven formula. The stages are pretty much just like before. You roam, you get objectives, you get tasks and quest, so to speak, and you just continue on and on and on. There was only one that I kind of stumbled upon, and come to find out, it wasn't even for the Druid. It was actually for the Rogue. But it was like this one dungeon I went into, and this one here, you need help with. I don't remember if it was the Time Master, Time Lord, or whatever the hell he was called. It's Time something, but I fought my way through this dungeon. The dungeon itself isn't hard at all. Getting to him, though, holy shit. He throws these, I'm assuming that when it says time, he encapsulates you, and it's like a little blue tornado around you, and you move so slow, almost like you're frozen, like the ice, you fight some ice beings in other places. But it's almost equivalent to that there. It slows you down to where you can barely move. But at the same time, he is generating army of undead he's throwing at you left and right. So you're trying to battle all those guys. And he doesn't just have that one circular thing going. There's typically about 4 of them on the screen. So you're trying to get away from them while he's moving, and he's got a big scythe. And the whole time he's raising up barriers out of the ground to keep your ass from getting too far away. So the werebear himself did little to nothing to him. The best attack I found was sneaking up from behind, and you could get 1 or 2 shots from my axe because my guy's slow. He's big. We don't move fast. I mean, that's just the way. That's why I was really hoping the werebear himself would really do some melee damage. It did not. So, needless to say, after dying about 3 times, I looked and seen what the reward was for it, and it was a spear that you, like I said, it was for, the rogue or someone. It wasn't for a druid. So I abandoned the task, got the fuck out of there, and went on about my way. Went and done some more things, got a few other tasks, quests and things and so forth and so on, and I really enjoyed it. Like I said, it's very repeat, but the fun part of Diablo, even though it's rinse, wash, repeat, you love it. It just keeps going. And the cutscenes, that good story that goes with this, it makes it worth it. So I highly recommend it in June. If you haven't already pre-ordered it, I'm not sure what the pre-order is. Typically it's some armor or artwork or something. I'm not sure. Someone told me they're not doing physical copies of this, which is a little scary. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I've bought digital games. That's not it. I just don't like things that are all solely digital. I mean, I like to have the physical copy 9 out of 10 times. I mean, very few things will I actually just buy digital unless I'm just too lazy to go find it in the store and I can't get it on the market. If I can find it in a GameStop or a Walmart or Best Buy or something like that, 9 out of 10 times your boy's buying the physical copy, because as great Stan Lee once said, movies look great on the screen, but they feel better in your hand. I like my comics and my games in my hand. So, that's just where we're at. I give it a solid 5 out of 5 hassles. Loved it. Then, the other part of my weekend. WWE 2K23. So, I know this probably doesn't surprise anybody, because I'm a big wrestling nerd. Always have been. Since I was knee high to a doorknob, I was a wrestling fanatic. Just who I am. Look behind me. But, so, when 23 come out, I was really hoping it wasn't going to be just, a upgraded version of 22, and it's not. They done really, really fantastic. Now, the graphics themselves are fucking amazing. It does look vastly superior to 22 on the same system. So that in itself, it's not like, you went from one console to the other. Both of these, I've played within 2 months of each other on the PlayStation 5. Lot better graphics. And there's a lot more cool movement in this one here. There's subtle things like in the pinning process that you can kind of reverse a pin, which to me is like, I like that. Like in the past, you just kick out and try to struggle back to your feet before they stomp the shit out of you 3 or 4 times. And, every now and then they add a whole where a guy does this or looks at the ref and talks a little smack or whatnot. But for the most part, it's pretty cut and dry. So on this one here, you can actually do a reversal and, go have a whole game in that in itself, which is cool. And there's various other odds and ends that you just subtle nuances that, you only see typically while watching a real wrestling match. So they have done a really, really great job of that right there. I will say the part that I am most impressed with was the showcase mode. Okay, so on 22, everyone knows Rey Mysterio was the showcase mode alum, so to speak. So, and I like Rey Mysterio. He's great. But I don't want to play 37 challenges with Rey Mysterio. I'm sorry. That gets repetitive. That gets monotonous. And the showcase mode in itself is already sometimes because you have to hit a certain sequence to unlock everything. And I don't like that, because sometimes it's like random shit that most players never use. Like, oh, hit this right here, out of this right here. A lot of times, common players just don't use that shit. They struggle through it. And plus, I like to set things up into a certain way. I like to build my own storytelling into the match anyways, which is why in the past I haven't been super big on showcase mode. This one, however, I liked. Because not only is it different than any other one, you get to kick the shit out of John Cena and see this motherfucker get his ass kicked about a dozen times. That in itself is great. They do a good job. Like, the only people that you will repeat fight with is Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker, and Edge. Yeah. And I will say, the Brock Lesnar and Undertakers, they're both different. Because one Brock Lesnar is OG, you still got the trunks before he went to the world of MMA, Brock Lesnar. His move set is different than Mr. Suplex City. So different. So it's not only a different challenge, it's like playing with a different character. To where the Undertaker, you get to play with Big Evil, and then of course you got the Dead Man. So those two characters also they play differently than one another. It's not just like a skin, you know, a different set of tights or something of that effect. So I liked that. Edge, I will say, because of it just being Edge, it was just a different set of tights, is what it is. Moving through the showcase mode, though, I will say it was pretty cool. I liked it. I enjoyed it. There's so many different people that you get to defeat him with, so it doesn't get so repetitive and so monotonous. And then you get to the end. Once you think when you beat it, there's 2 bonus challenges. These were pretty fucking cool. Because the first one is you have to face Super Cena. Well, we've all heard, you know, you watch Cena growing up and shit like this. You get tired of it. Oh, here comes Super Cena. This motherfucker, he's gonna do his 5 moves of doom and it's over. Well, they have a Super Cena on the game who has a max score of 100. So I highly recommend you get to choose who you want to face. And you don't have to choose someone from the showcase mode, but I will tell you this. Choose Roman Reigns from the showcase mode because he's a 99. That's the closest you're going to get. He's the only other person in the game that has a ridiculous God mode level. And, you know, I know Roman teases that, you know, he's on a different level. He's God mode and all this. In this game, he fucking is. He's a beast. So I highly recommend getting Roman, playing him. The cool part of Super Cena, he's invisible. You see it? It's like a head, and you got the gear, but the person himself, he's invisible. So that's kind of challenging, but a neat little aspect too. You beat it, of course, you unlock him. The final one was the one that made me talk so ugly in my house because of the sequence that you have to do it and who you have to face. So you have to be John Cena for this one and final challenge because, you know, he's like, the whole time he's like, I never give up, I never give up, I never give up. You know, he's getting his ass tore up every match. So, you know, they had to give you boy one. So you play with John Cena, who's about a 96 at this version that you play with. You know, they don't let you play with Super Cena. But you have a fatal 4-way with Bruno Sammartino, 80s Hulkster, the immortal Hulk Hogan. We finally got 80s immortal Hulk Hogan back in the game. And then the Texas Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Oh, hell yeah! So, yes, you have to face all 3 of them. Problem is, you got to beat them in sequence, and no one else can pin anyone. So, you have to beat Bruno first, then the Hulkster, and last Austin. The only thing you have going for you in your favor is the fact that if you're trying to pin someone, Bruno nor Hulk will kick you in the head to get you to break the count because they're good guys. Even their AI is good guys. They'll stand back and watch you try to pin Austin. Austin, however, he's Austin. Then they capture him perfectly coming to the ring. I will say that. It's amazing. But Austin, he don't give a fuck if it's a 4-way or not. If you try to pin somebody, he's stomping you. So that's where the frustration comes in. And he's trying to win as well because he's like Hulk could go for a pin occasionally here and there, not too much. Austin, every time you turn around, he's trying to pin something down, buddy. And he's throwing stunners left and right, and he's a beast on there. And they captured, I would say, probably 1998 Austin when he was really hot, like white hot. That's what they went with. So it's pretty cool. But if you beat it in the sequence you're supposed to beat it in, you unlock Bruno and you unlock 80s Hogan. To me, just get 80s Hogan was what I wanted because I'm tired of playing with Hollywood Hogan or O2 Hogan that doesn't even take his headband off, you know, during the match. Like, what the fuck? We know you're bald. Take it off. So they do 80s Hogan, he does take it off. I mean, he's got the Hulk Rules shirt and bandana. And when he takes the bandana off, they give him a little more of a comb over than what he actually had, say, maybe 88. I'm cool with it. It's the Hulkster. We can give him a little hair. It's cool. You know, he's atoned for the things he said. Welcome back to the WWE Universe. One of the other things that I've always loved with these games, create a player. Now, I don't bother to create my own fucking player anymore. I used to years ago. But then, like, I would, like, be really proud of the player, and then I'd look online and see, like, all these other creator wrestlers, and like, man, my guy's trash. What the fuck? There's just people that are way too skilled. Some of their characters look just as damn good, if not better, than what 2K Studios has. So, I'm really big advocate for this, and I got a list that I'm going to post on here of various people on Twitter. You can go on there, and there's at least 4 on there, and I think I may have left Phenom CAWs off of there. If I did, I'm sorry, I apologize. Look these guys up. They make some really cool, really cool creator wrestlers. One of them made a, I want to say DJ Gorilla Nuts. I know, that's a pretty cool handle, I guess. He made an Owen Hart that's fucking great. Because you're not going to ever get Owen Hart in a game. So this is by far one of the best Owen Harts I have ever seen. I've seen some real, there's a Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, that I had to download. I forget which one done it, but I got tags on the pictures I'm finna show on all of these. That looks amazing. It looks just like her. So, I mean, I know AEW has a game coming out, but this looks better. Let's just be honest. Sorry. There's another one that's done a lot of different versions of Sting. They look great. I downloaded a couple myself. I like to download the ones that's not there. I'm probably gonna hold off on doing Universe in my GM mode simply because I want to do Nitro. That is one of the things in my GM mode this year. You can actually choose Eric Bischoff as a general manager of Monday Night Nitro. Like typically in the past, all you had was Raw, NXT, SmackDown. This year they have added WCW Nitro to it, and I'm super pumped about that. But I want to get the right downloadable characters. Like, I mean, one of the first download packs is the Steiner Brothers, and I've already seen, you know, they're coming out with a big Papa Pump action figure that goes with the Matty Collector's Monday Night Nitro set that's up for crowdfunding now. So they have that first version of Big Papa Pump, so I'm pretty damn sure we're going to get him as a downloadable at some point, but Steiner Brothers, legit Steiner Brothers back in the game was cool too. So I was able to, getting back to the creative player, I downloaded an old one. British Bulldog was actually on this game. Since he was downloadable last time, they started out with that one. So you can actually go in there and tweak costumes. I will do that. Take the established stars and tweak their costumes. And I got rid of the cape and the long tights. Give him the short-haired British Bulldog attire. Even got the leather jacket. You can go on Community Creations, download images, just look up Bulldog, and you can get the Heart Foundation logo with Bulldog across there that he wore to the ring during that time. So he essentially looks just like 97 Davey, but with the dreadlocks. Only different. I can toss that up. So I got a Heart Foundation from 97, legit on there, ready to fuck the bloodline up. But that's pretty much what we did. We showcased all weekend long and played Diablo. I mean, I don't know of a much better way to spend the weekend other than the fact that I did have some Crown Black with it. So, your boy had alcoholic beverages and games. And I got to give my hat off to my wife. She was super cool about it. Even though I know by Sunday, she was super tired of hearing this games. But she was a trooper. God bless her. I love her. Thank you, babe. That being said, that's this week's edition of Hassel's Review. So we couldn't do this. We couldn't do none of the stuff without the sponsor. Zone Collectibles, Tifton, Georgia, 305. Go see them. 305 Main Street. Ooh, I forgot that part. Go see the Clady family. They will hook you up with all your nerdy needs, bringing unity through community. Phantoms Unite. They are really big into the peanut butter and Jesus and a few other charities. So if you're into that, please help them out. They help the Christian Soup Kitchen a great deal as well. So if you don't want to go buy some comics, go donate to charity. It's never a bad cause. Help them out. Another thing is, like we've told you, we're moving to Roku TV. Southern Joy Media. Not just me, but our friend of the show, Big Rob's House of Entertainment and No Chinese Food. He's going with me. And it'll be us on there being assholes at the same time. So, that's coming very, very soon. And, of course, always, remember the show that started it all, the one that we still kicking around and doing some really great things and growing and getting way up the ladder, the Nerdy Man Room Show with me and my co-host Monster. You can't beat it. We just had Wes Hartman on last week. We got a few other big guests lined up for the near future. So go check the archives out if you hadn't checked us out before. I mean, you're on our channel right now, so maybe you stumbled upon us. I don't care. Like, subscribe, share. Tell your brothers about us. Tell your sisters. Hell, tell them. However you want to say it. I don't care. Tell somebody. So, with that being said, the power is yours.